All right, it is your one and only boy Genius out here at the range today on this beautiful day. Done messed around and got about 75 degrees. It's a little chilly when I came out here this morning. And so this flannel go jacket is roasting me, cooking me right now. But either way, I promised that I would begin the process of going through some of my collection. As some folks had said, can you do a gun collection video? So what I decided to do is to bring one at a time on occasion in between filming some of the newer released guns and just showcasing one at a time. That's going to take a while, but it's what you asked for, so it's what I'm going to try to do. I started out with the SP01, then I got my P09 from CZ. I think I've gotten, I can't remember the other ones that I've done already, but H&K, second favorite brand, only behind CZ. So this will be my second H&K and my second CZ. I did my H&K VP9, that's what it was. So it'll be two H&Ks, two CZs. That makes sense because they are my favorite brand. Before we get started with the video talking about the H&K P30L, just want to invite you to know Jesus Christ as your Savior. If you don't know, ask me how you can know in the comment section or email me at g2tactical@gmail.com. Be glad to have a conversation with you about that. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon, $5 a month. You can cancel anytime. Go over to g2tactical.com, click on the three lines in the corner, hit support the channel, put in the price that you want to pay or donate. Everything is appreciated and coveted. Also, support the folks that support us, flannelgo.com. That's where my wife and I had our flannel jackets that we wear a lot on camera. And also go over, check out Crate Tactical at cratetactical.com. Put a link up in the corner of the screen. They provided the majority of the targets that we use, and hopefully we'll be donating some more very, very soon. But the best targets that I've ever had by far, they have been out here for several years and countless rounds, I don't even know. But either way, go over, check them out, and support the people that support us. I don't get any money from you buying anything from them. They just sent me the product. They supported me. I didn't have to buy this target. So support those that support your favorite 2A channel. So either way, got the H&K P30L. I'll tell you a little bit about why I bought this, other than the fact that, again, I'm a huge H&K fan, huge. So CZ and H&K is right there neck and neck at the top. CZ only inching it out by just a little bit, okay? I went, saw a John Wick movie. I'm not sure which one it was. Had a P30L and it had this compensator on the end of it. And I'm like, oh, what is that? So ended up buying a compensator for it off HK Parts. And it turned out to be a bust. It turns out it wasn't the one he had. And it did not really work out that great. I put it on as advertised or as the instructions said, and it would not function. The slide would not cycle without some extremely hot ammunition, and I just couldn't afford to shoot that thing that way. It just wouldn't run my range ammunition, so I ended up taking it off. But when I found out that he also uses this, you know, for some competition shooting outside of the movies, it really made me want it even more. So what I call this is my hammer fired VP9, because essentially in a lot of ways that's what it is. Up top it has the day-night sights, which I really, really like. You know, I've had this conversation about night sights in the past. They don't really matter much to me because my thought process is, okay, it's pitch dark. I can see the sights, but if I can't see my assailant, what good is it to see my sights? Now, I'm sure that the internet operators out there is going to tell me why it is that it's good to have those without being able to see your assailant or your target. But I like these because when I hit that light in the dark, it's almost as if it, I know it doesn't, but it's almost as if it radiates through these sights here. And man, they just glow brighter than any night sights that I've had. I think they call these luminescent sights. They're also on most CZs that doesn't have night sights on them. Walk out of this sun right now, they're glowing really, really bright, real easy to see. Even though I'm not a huge fan of green, these pick up really well. Walk into a dark room for 4 or 5 minutes, they will illuminate brighter than any night sights you've ever had, I assure you of that. So we have the luminescent sights on the top, 3-dot of course, and they are steel sights. So coming down on the side, they have this red, it has this red on the extractor for you to know whether or not one is in the chamber. I think they all should be that way. Nothing should be up on the top like a lot of optic ready guns throwing GSR and oil all over your optic. I really like it because it actually shows up. It's actually easy to look down the side and see that there is one in the chamber because that red really shows up. Okay, does have a ambi slide lock on the gun, serrations on the rear, also has serrations on the front, and also it has a 5-slot pick rail or accessory rail up front. And there is no safety on the gun. The gun is a decocker only, so you load one in the chamber and you hit the button on the rear of the gun and it decocks the gun. You will have to pull it from a double action at that point. That's how you will have to carry it from a double action. So yeah, well, you know, it's a double single action trigger. You know, technically, if you're out here at the range and you wanted to pop one in there and leave the hammer back, okay, fine, you can, you know, shoot it from, but I would not recommend carrying it around like that because there is no safety and, you know, just probably not the smartest thing you ever did. So put one in the chamber, hit the decocker button on the back, and you're ready to go from a double action. So the double action trigger on this, 0 grit, no light or soft spots through the progression backward. Just a very predictable trigger on this. Long reset, as most hammer fired, my CZs, the SAR that I just done, most of hammer fired guns do have longer resets, but once it does reset, it's very pronounced. You can hear it, you can feel it, good enough, not a trigger snob. There's no grit in the trigger, and it doesn't sneak up on you. It's a very predictable break on the trigger. Very large, rounded trigger guard that is serrated on the front and very easy to get in and out of. Does have this awkwardly curved trigger. I do like the LT models that has that flat face trigger, if you will, more straight up and down, but it does have that gutter in the bottom of the trigger guard that, like I have said before, that almost effectively eliminates you pinching your finger underneath the bottom of the trigger. It is a ambi mag release with the paddles, not the push button, which I've told you before. I will release that with my index finger. If I practice with it, that seems kind of natural to me to do that with my shooting finger or my trigger finger, should I say. And so it does have the paddle, not push button. Pretty sure you can get this with a push button model. So coming on down, you do have the grip panels that you're accustomed to seeing on the VP9. Change out both sides and the rear. Customize this thing to your hand. Does not have the flared mag well. I did add this, got it at HK Parts as well. I did paint it blue to match the +3 mag extension that I got from Solemn Tools. Sorry to hear about them deciding to give up and they don't make that product anymore, but either way, it's a fantastic product. And I bought it that color, so I painted my paddles here for the mag release, and I painted my flared mag well that color. I like it, you may not, whatever. Either way, the flared mag well did not come on the gun. It did come with two 17-round magazines. I added the +3 that gives me 20 rounds in the gun if I want it. I don't carry this gun on my person, although I've attempted a couple of times. It's, again, a little bit too big for me. I don't really like bulk when I'm carrying, so it is a nightstand or truck gun on occasion. It is certainly in the rotation. So it came in a nice box with a mag loader, and I mean, just the build quality of an H&K. So people say, well, why do you like CZ better than H&K? Is it because it's built better? I like CZ because I shoot better with the CZ. I can't really explain that necessarily. It's probably because of the low bore axis. So I shoot more naturally, more easily. So does my wife. So does most people I hand these two guns. They like the H&K, but they shoot better with the CZ. So I like the CZ because they have better triggers. They shoot a ton better. And at the end of the day, that's what matters most, right? That you hit what you are aiming at and that it shoots good. So that's primarily the reason. Do I think overall the build quality of a CZ is better than H&K? Honestly, no, I don't. I mean, honestly, just look at the guide rod in this gun. I mean, H&K, from their Mark 23, the USP, the HK45, are built like tanks. You know, people say that the FNs are built like tanks, built like tanks. Yeah, and in a lot of ways they are. This is really built like a tank. The build quality of H&K is absolutely superb, and nice polished feed ramp on the barrel, and I absolutely love the H&K P30L. Okay, I'm going to put this last magazine through it again. As I said, I'm not going to do a ton of shooting during my collection videos. I think I'm going to do the H&K P2000 SK next, the 40 chambered in 40 cal. I did a short on that and someone requested that I do that, so I think I'm gonna do that next. But I'm gonna shoot this last 17 round magazine and then we'll wrap up the video. Didn't lock back on the mag. So, and I said that it didn't lock back on the mag on the with the extension on there. It may very well be that is a thing that I do with H&K and some SIGs. Is I do, my meat hooks do ride that slide lock, and so a lot of times it's my fault that they don't lock back. Not a gun problem, it's a shooter problem. But either way, and you also have to understand, during my progression of pulling these guns out, I've probably not shot them in quite some time. I have a very extensive collection of guns that I've been collecting for many, many years. And so I can't afford to put tons of ammunition through these guns. So I don't sit out here and shoot these guns round after round after round before I do the video. So if I do a little dip of death, if I don't let the trigger fully reset because I've been shooting other guns today, or if it doesn't lock back on the mag, or if I'm not as accurate as you're accustomed to me being, you don't hear the steel going ding. It's nothing to do with the gun. It's just that I've been shooting other guns. It's been a while since I've shot these, and I did not take time to familiarize or re-familiarize myself with the gun before shooting. Either way, H&K P30L, if you can afford this gun, if it's in your price range, if you've thought about it, totally don't think about it anymore. Absolutely recommend the gun in every way and for every occasion. Thanks again for watching, and as always, to God only be the glory.